Hello, everyone. I know that for most of you, you're sick and tired of hearing about COVID. Our news media has failed the factor that as a quality professional, my name is Daryl Guberman, the CEO of Guberman PMC LLC, a quality consulting firm here in Connecticut. We have over 40 plus years in quality, ranging from aerospace, medical implants, medical materials, printing, and plastic distribution, where we hit upon every industry known to mankind. Today, this video is about the flow chart for COVID-19 and the liability of escape. Daryl Guberman points finger at the American National Standards Institute, or ANSI, and also the American National Crediting Board. For they, you will find out, are the underwriters for the International Accreditation Form and also the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. They give you all of these acronyms. You, the business owner, you, our society, our people. They give you it because of this. Just like our politicians, ANSI follows suit as well. They're a 104-year-old or plus organization, and this is what obfuscation is: the action of making something obscure, unclear, or unintelligible. We're going to hit upon this flow chart. I'm not going to go into very big depth on it. I find that it is absolutely ridiculous. There are some people, I guess, they're still suing Wuhan, China, because of the escape of the virus. And we have proof, documented proof from a Miss Pamela Sale, who is the vice president of accreditation for laboratory that works for ANSI-ANAB. And she's the one under deposition in 2017 that stated that from one laboratory to another, there are variances. Isn't that nice? And that's on a forensic basis, but you have to add the other laboratories like phlebotomy labs, bio-level 4 labs like in Wuhan, China. I do this because I've been harping about it. I hear business people, Daryl, I have to take the road of least resistance. I've got to go with ANAB and ANSI. And if they only knew that they were going into the sewage of communist China, and also, and I say this not about the people of these countries, I say it about the politicians, Iran and Pakistan. Those two countries admitted to harboring, Iran, the politician said that we harbored terrorists for 9/11 that flew into the plane, flew into the Twin Towers. And you have Pakistan, who harbored Osama bin Laden. So here we go. We're going to show you this. You start out at DARPA. DARPA is the organization and government that does all kinds of bacteriological warfare stuff and other items. They were assisted by Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, and Moderna. You'll find them also that they also, not Moderna, but Johnson & Johnson and Pfizer both sit on ANSI's board. You find Mr. Anthony Fauci here. You also have the factor of NIH and CDC also sit on ANSI's board. You come over here, Harvard University. The reason why we bring Mr. Charles Lieber involved is that Harvard denied that he worked with China because Harvard University gets millions of dollars from China. This guy is a specialist on nanotechnology, both biological and electronic. He was the head of the chemistry department in Harvard. In 2019, once the COVID virus started to spread wildly, he was arrested by the FBI. You really don't hear too much about him. And here we go over here. This was Randy Dodry. At the time in 2015, from 2009 to 2015, Randy was the vice president of ANAB, the chairman of the International Accreditation Forum Incorporated in Delaware, and he was also the principal, which means he had complete control over IAF on the 990 tax form, and he was there, I think, up until 2017-18. He handed over leadership of the International Accreditation Forum, which is an association of accreditation bodies worldwide. And what happened is we have an email from Randy who stated that an IAF MLA or MRA, which is a multilateral agreement or multi-regional agreement organization, is equivalent in accreditation to ANAB. So ANAB and ANSI-ANAB, which is the underwriters for IAF, which is incorporated in Delaware, and the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia, no less. Zhao Jinwu, the Chinese national, has been involved with our a communist Chinese national. He's been involved with our quality since 1994. He, at the time, was also the chief executive of the China National Accreditation Services located in Beijing, China. Now, we have the situation where you have IAF and ILAC. We have a letter, actually not even a letter, there was an article, and we have the web link, and we also have a snapshot of the actual statement that Randy made during the 25th anniversary of the IAF. He stated that the IAF and ILAC are sister organizations. They must be sister organizations because the IAF does not allow Israel on board, and ILAC does not allow Iran on board. They always talk about global harmonization and we're bringing people together. Well, I haven't seen that in many, many years, that Israel is not allowed on an American-based company and Iran is not allowed on the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation in Australia. Yes, this is true. You have also an Israeli woman who is running the International Laboratory Accreditation Cooperation. I don't know whether it's political, but we can't talk about quality and politics. Quality is about moving society ahead, except every time you turn around, you find out that ANSI-ANAB and those people, those corporations that sit on their board, fudge documentation like Boeing, that skip quality processes and standards like Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and Lockheed Martin. They all sit there on their 801st F-35. They still have quality issues, and they all profess the ANSI-ANAB certificate for their suppliers, subcontractors. Let's continue on. In 2017, you see Zhao Jinwu in Wuhan, China, giving a laboratory certification to them. During that time, there were investigators going over from the United States, going over to Wuhan, China, and the scientists over there that were doing the research in that laboratory said that they do not have enough trained technicians. I have that article. It will, in fact, be in the description below. You also have the factor that during that time, from May 17th to 19th in 2017, there was a second annual meeting for a workshop in China and the United States on emerging diseases and pandemics. And that was between May 17th and 19th, 2017. I wanted to give you a little bit of a flowchart here. So when you have a situation where you have the Vice President of Quality for Laboratory state this, and here she is, and the statement here, you can read it, and I'm going to put phlebotomy lab. I'm going to also put down bio level 4 lab and also forensic laboratories. She stated under deposition, 2017 no less, one of the issues is that there is no commonly agreed upon set of standards that forensic labs around the country have to follow. Instead, there are informal guidelines that labs can choose to follow or not. Voluntary consensus standards fail, since standards are meant to be uniform throughout a particular industry, laboratory, automotive, aerospace, electronics, medical, and service industries, but they are not, as Ms. Sales illustrated in her deposition. And the worst thing is a laboratory certification, per her own words, is just handed over to these labs without any sort of substance within the context of that laboratory. And one of the worst things is she signs off certificates for laboratory accreditation, no less. So she is basically giving this to a laboratory, and the laboratory has no clue. The people need training, the people, all of that. Because there was a gentleman, a lawyer in 2011 that gave a report to the city of, or actually the state of New York. And it was about ASCLD Lab, which is run by and owned by ANSI-ANAB and Pamela Sale. She's the vice president of that. She said, remember, there's variances between laboratories, not out of control basically, and she still signs off these certificates. He said that getting a certificate from ASCLD Lab is like a badge of honor. It gives no substance to the system. I'm going to leave it here. I think I've given you enough information. My name is Daryl Guberman, 203-556-1493. And I just wanted to expose the situation because I believe in human life. These people believe grab the money, smoke their cigars, and have their martinis, and that's it. Again, 203-556-1493 or Daryl, Daryl, TQRS, @yahoo.com. And I thank you.